hoopinhoops.com. Please subscribe to ensure you always get the content. Okay, let's dive straight into it. I will not hesitate to say it. The NBA got it wrong with a decision on the encounter between Nikola Jokic and the Phoenix Suns majority owner, Mat Ishbia. After deliberation, the league decided to fine the Joker $25,000 and left Matt unpunished. Most persons I listen to seem to be of the opinion that the NBA should have not penalized either party. I do not agree with either the league nor what most analysts are saying. My position is that the league should have penalized Ishbia, and it ends there. By penalize, I mean they should have fined him. On the court during the game, the refs gave Jokic a technical foul, and there was no other action taken. I will start with on the court. And when I say no other actions taken, I mean there was no other penalties that were dished out. Okay? So I realize, this is the Suns owner, and they're playing in his house. So I don't see a situation where they would have ejected him from the building. And let me point out that I did not think that he should have been ejected either way. But I still don't see a situation where they would have done that. And I'm not certain, but I don't think there is any provision in the rules to allow to give a fan a tick. And make no mistake, he's the owner of the Suns, but at the game, he's in the capacity of a fan watching the game. I know it's difficult to separate his ownership status from his personal status, but he's there as a fan. Irrespective, the treatment he got is based on his status, as on his ownership status, I should say, and not on his fan status. So more or less, I will somewhat address, the actions in line with his ownership status. So let's look at what happened. The ball somewhat went into the stands. In essence, it went into the first few rows or so. I don't think it got past the first row anyway. But a Suns player also went into the front row seats. Mat Ishbia decided to hold on to the ball. The Joker went to take the ball from Matt to start the offense because he could clearly see they would have an advantage, a 5-on-4 situation. But however, Matt decided he's not giving up the ball. In essence, what he's doing, he's giving his team's player time to recover so that the Nuggets will not have an advantage. We all saw, from the video, Jokic continually trying to pull the ball away. Now, let me pause for a second to say this, and you'll hear multiple analysts say the same thing. If it was any other ordinary fan, other than the owner of the Suns, that fan would have been ejected. So this is the first problem the league did not address. A situation where if a fan was involved, what would have been the response? Now I got to add that it's not the first time the ball goes into, the first row or the first couple of rows and the player goes to retrieve it. So there's nothing wrong with the Joker going to retrieve the ball from the owner, the fan, whatever you want to call him, having the ball. Next, Ishbia puts his hand on Jokic's waist. Immediately, when the Joker felt the hand, you could see him shrug his arm. Now you could see, of course, his arm is a bit is spread wide away from from his body, and Ishbia falls back. Most persons will agree that he flopped. You could if you look at the video, you could see the actions of what how Jokic moved his arm and him falling back. So I mean, of course, I cannot say with 100% certainty that he did not flop, but it definitely, from my position and from most other analyst positions, and from well, I've not really heard anyone else say anything other than he seemed to have flopped. So that's the second problem the league did not address. A fan or the owner, whichever you want to look at it, putting the hand on a player. That should not be allowable. The refs gave Joker a tech that Booker took and made. Now it doesn't matter whether he made the free throw or not. And you heard Booker after the game mention that the owner got them one extra point. That's the third thing that was not addressed by the league. The owner getting his team points that is unrelated to, to the actual action in the game. I will go to a fourth point in that Mat actions lost the Nuggets two possible easy points. So that in addition to the 1 point he gave them, he potentially took away 2 points, two easy points that they could have gotten. Because by stopping the game and all the distractions, the Suns get to reset the defense. And now, of course, it becomes more difficult. It changes the way or the opportunity that the Nuggets would have had to score. Now, I know the overall impact on the game because at the point, of the game at that time, you know, the impact may have been minimal. But the point I'm making here is that those things should not happen because whether it's a small impact or a larger impact, someone that's observing the game, that's not a part of playing the game, should not have a hand in impacting the outcome or the actual play that is taking place. Because persons could affect the outcome, by, persons have, whether it be rags or other things, and they try to distract you or so on, if the players let it distract them. But to actually insert yourself into the actual play on the game, that should not have happened. And the league never addressed any of that sort of thing. So let me say this. By letting Ishbia's actions go unchecked, the league is setting a precedence. Just imagine other stakeholders seizing opportunities to give the team an advantage now that they see they can get away with it. The advantage may seem insignificant, but stakeholders with some status could change the momentum of the game by stopping a play. You understand? This could cause swings in momentum, especially depending on how the distraction takes place, how persons interact with the person who is causing the distraction, and all of that kind of thing. And don't tell me that Mark Cuban earlier in the playoffs went to the scorer table to argue a call, and and other owners, they get away with stuff. What I will tell you is that No owner throughout the history of the game have inserted themselves in the on-court play of a game. This is the first time, and I dare anybody to give me evidence otherwise. Okay? Mat Ishbia's actions had an immediate effect on the outcome of the game, albeit, from my opinion, minimal. I heard a former player analyst argue that it is Ishbia's competitive nature as a former player that caused him to hold on to the ball, and that to some degree makes it okay. Well, just imagine a former NBA player, sitting courtside and the ball flies in his direction, and they decide to hold on to the ball, giving the team that they're supporting a bit of an advantage. Are we going to say that it is the competitive nature that caused them to hold on to the ball as well? Obviously, that argument from the player analyst does not make much sense. In essence, the fault in the situation between Jokic and Suns owner Mat Ishbia, the fault started and ended with Ishbia. The league punished Jokic even after his team was disadvantaged. The decision from the NBA, from the league, is wrong. The league, I will repeat, is completely wrong on that one. Simple as that. hoopinhoops.com